Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk on the very important topic today, that how do we sustain with green energy, that is the requirement for the coming generations. So railways consume a lot of energy, carry mass transport for passengers. Similarly, for the freight, every year about 1,000 million ton of freight traffic is moved. About 4,000 megawatt of power in the peak periods has to be reserved for the railways for electric traction. And similarly, on the diesel side, the traction with the diesel locomotives, we use around 2.3 million kiloliters of HSD. Even small savings in these energy figures can improve the efficiency and the savings in the railways. In this direction, Indian Railways has already made a vision document 2020. In this vision document, apart from many other features, how to carry the bulk freight traffic as well as passengers, and in the cities, the metro systems, how to reduce the carbon emissions. Every year, we manufacture about 500 locomotives, each locomotive a high horsepower locomotive, more than 6,000 horsepower. Thousands of coaches and lakhs of wagons. This is the annual input. Therefore, it encompasses the manufacturing technology and then the operational technology, how to improve the energy efficiency in the manufacture, and then in carrying the load, carrying the coaches, the wagons, the energy efficiency has a tremendous role. Gradually, the policy is towards electrification of railway tracks. In spite of 65% of the freight and more than 50% of the passenger traffic on electric traction, our fuel expense on electric energy is only 40%. We are replacing the energy inefficient DC drives. The system which was working on 1,500 volt DC is being replaced to 25,000 volt AC with the energy efficient drives. Large number of metro trains are there. They are being replaced by the state-of-the-art AC drives, which give energy savings of the order of 35 to 40% by regeneration. In the AC traction, we are having high figures of power factor, which again reduces the transmission losses. We have inputs in the form of highly sophisticated computerized simulators for training of the drivers. Apart from normal driving methods, the inputs in the form of driving techniques required for saving of energy. There are large number of level crossing gates. Railways run through jungles and all their level crossing gates are there. They have to be lighted, and electric lines are not available. We have used solar lighting for lighting of thousands of level crossing gates. Let's have a bright future with a clean environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I think between the two of you, you have covered almost the main spectrum of of the basic sectors that can address energy efficiency. We have heard earlier also that there are several initiatives that are happening in the country to move towards an energy efficient economy. And if I'm looking at specifically at the building sector, there are different government initiatives. The BE is talking about ECBs. It simply talks about what kind of minimum thresholds of energy efficiency you need to integrate it within your buildings so that tomorrow your buildings consume less energy. But unfortunately what is happening is, the majority of the construction sector is driven by developer community, and they are not the beneficiaries of incremental cost that happens when you are sort of incurring extra cost in implementing these measures. So obviously there is a gap between what you commit to do and what you do on ground. And what we have done recently is, and also if you look at even the National Habitat Mission, one of the key components of that is to see how you mainstream the Energy Conservation Building Code and how you integrate that within the building bylaws. While that work is progressing, but what we felt was that it is very important to have a common ground or a common meeting point for all the good guidelines, all green guidelines to come together and make a voluntary framework through which people can adopt that framework to go green in their buildings. So TERI, in association with the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, we have come up with Green Rating for Integrated Habitat Assessment, which is a green building rating framework which tries to join all these dots, all good practices which are mentioned in the National Building Code, utilization of traditional architectural practices into building, energy conservation building code, as well as other green measures which look beyond energy, talk about water efficiency, talk about waste management. Everything gets covered within this overall framework. Plus, GRIHA talks about renewable energy integration into buildings. So using this one tool, we are able to move towards an energy efficient, more greener future, not only in terms of energy efficiency, but also water efficiency, integration of renewable forms of energy, so on and so forth. And we are working very closely with the government to take this forwards. And the government of India has also introduced different incentives around the GRIHA scheme. And currently the status of GRIHA is that it is a mandate within all central government and public sector undertaking buildings, that all these buildings have to be mandatorily GRIHA 3-star, which is, a rating framework has this bandwidth which qualifies a building to be star rated. So this framework we are taking forward with the MNRE, and currently there are about 70 buildings which are registered, covering about 3 million square meters. And shortly the number is increasing with every day. And each of these buildings have the potential to save about 30 to 40% energy in comparison to a conventional building. And it not only taps the benefit of these codes, which talk about, as I had mentioned, implementing high technology options, but it also talks about how you harness these low hanging fruits, how you integrate traditional knowledge into your buildings, how you also change mindset and lifestyle of people to move towards a more energy efficient future.